Stay tuned for comments after the video.
Unlike actors, costume designers are called to work long before the director shouts, "Lights, camera, action."
You can't just put a beautiful gown on an actress. You have to know the play, you have to know the script, you have to know why they have to wear what particular clothes. It's not like fashion at all. It's quite a complicated process, and I'm usually on for 6 to 8 weeks before, sometimes months.
Ruth Morley begins by breaking down the script, then sketching or shopping for just the right clothes, and finally, photographing each and every scene. Ruth has a real reputation for detail, and that's why director Jerry Zucker hired her for his new film, Ghost, which stars Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg. For Ruth, Ghost posed a particular costume problem.
Patrick wears the same costume for almost the entire film. He plays a young banker who gets killed early on and then becomes the ghost, and is that for 3/4 of the film, and is therefore in the same costume all that time. His jeans, however simple this may seem, they're black jeans, but they have been aged, and through washing machines, through sandpapering, through over-dyeing, through washing again, through bleaching again. They go through an enormous process to have them look as though he has worn them for quite a while, and he needs about 10 pairs of these.
Luckily, Whoopi's wardrobe was a bit less complicated.
Whoopi was really fun to dress. She plays this phony psychic, and I did put her into hand-painted clothes, kind of eccentric clothes of no particular time.
On the set, Ruth doesn't stop with the stars. She's always adding that extra touch.
I just happen to care about a whole look, and that will include the extras on a film, and I will see them carefully before they're put in, and very often I've been known to run in and pull somebody out if something went by me. I'm very critical of myself.
And she has to be, because her talent tends to go unnoticed by the general public.
I'm unfortunately known for doing good character work, which does not necessarily get noticed. That's why I'm pleased when someone does notice.
The work is time-consuming and often tedious, and the rewards few and far between. But even so, Ruth Morley wouldn't trade her job for anything.
It's all right, because Ruth is the best. Now, Ruth, you have to adjust this pocketbook. I don't know.
Ghost can be seen in theaters now. I'm Matt Lauer for HBO Entertainment News Feature Story.
A young boy travels to an enchanted land in search of his real parents. Timothy Bottom's Christopher Lee and Susanna York star in The Land of Far Away, next on HBO.
In this video, we watched an HBO Entertainment news segment featuring a profile on costume designer Ruth Morley. Since the early days of HBO, the channel has taken a news-like approach to some of their short segments that run between showings of movies and series. In many cases, they consist of behind-the-scenes features, interview segments, and sometimes red carpet coverage. HBO has had a variety of names for these over the years, with many overlaps. They used the name HBO Behind the Scenes from 1982 to 1992, HBO Entertainment News from 1988 to 2007, and HBO News from 1988 to 2011. These days, they only use the name HBO First Look, a name which they first started using in 1992. And these days, they don't run as many of these types of features between movies and series. With the decline of physical media, studios are producing less of the behind-the-scenes videos that they once used for DVD and Blu-ray extras. And HBO is devoting a lot more time between movies and series to promoting their own original works. This is a trend that has been growing since popular series like The Sopranos and Game of Thrones started airing on the channel. But this video is from 1988, and back then they were still packaging these segments like news, and we saw a familiar face sitting behind the news desk. Before he was on NBC's The Today Show, Matt Lauer was the host of HBO News for 2 years. In this video, we saw a profile on costume designer Ruth Morley. Morley was the costume designer on some of Hollywood's most famous films, including Taxi Driver, Annie Hall, Superman the Movie, Kramer vs. Kramer, Tootsie, and Ghost. Sadly, Ruth Morley died of breast cancer at age 65 just 1 year after this aired on HBO. It's interesting to see how these pay channels approached the open time between films back in the 1980s. Back then, it was mostly films, although HBO had already started to produce their own original programming with shows like Not Necessarily the News. In the case of HBO, they really did try to create a full-fledged program instead of only running behind-the-scenes clips and interviews with no introduction, although there was some of that too. This HBO News feature story segment allowed HBO to add their logo and identity to video that was often shot by a studio in support of one of their films. In this case, the video was obviously shot by Paramount Pictures to promote the film Ghost, which was released that same year in 1990. No doubt HBO had already secured the cable broadcast rights for that film when this video was aired. My parents were paying for HBO at the time, and I don't know if it really made a difference in how they viewed the channel. I don't remember anyone in our family really watching these before or after a movie. I imagine that just seeing the graphics and an announcer on the screen, even if the sound was muted, may have added some credibility to the channel and helped justify the monthly cost in my parents' minds. Things like this often serve that kind of a purpose for channels like HBO. Well, those are my comments for this video. If you like these retro videos, please subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up, click the notification bell, and leave a comment. All these things really help the channel. Keep watching for more retro videos like this and other retro videos like Retro Talk. Take care of yourself, look out for others. Talk to you later. Bye.
This video brought to you by StockAgogo.com, Stock Photos.